Hi, I'm Bill Berry from R.E.M, and you're watching Goofball TV.
Wow, Bill Berry here at Goofball TV HQ. I can't believe it. I don't know how he got my address or how the heck he even knows who I am, but boy am I glad he stopped by, because today we're talking about none other than R.E.M, probably my favorite band of all time, without question. Okay, where to start? It's 1980, Athens, Georgia, a small little college town about 70 miles away from Atlanta. Michael Stipe walks into the local record shop where he meets Peter Buck, another local dude who's really into rock and roll, namely Patti Smith and proto-punk, a lot of Velvet Underground, stuff like that. Anyways, they bond over records, and the rest is kind of history for them. They'll shortly meet future bass player Mike Mills and future drummer Bill Berry at a party through a mutual friend. They decide to get together, try their hand at writing some tunes, and they played their first show April 5th, 1980, at an old abandoned church for one of their friends' birthdays. Pretty cool. Alright, so 1983 rolls around, and their first album on IRS comes out, Murmur. Now this record, boy, it's just one of the greatest debuts of all time. It's classically southern with the kudzu vines just taking over the land. If you've ever been down in the south, you might have seen some yourself. Anyways, this record's just awesome. The smash hit single, Radio Free Europe, was kind of the tune that broke them. But boy, you got Pilgrimage, Talk About the Passion, Catapult, probably one of my favorites. Sitting Still, Shaking Through, the list goes on and on. It's just a really, really great album, especially for their first record. It's nuts. Peter Buck apparently wasn't much of a guitar player before even starting R.E.M, but you listen to this and you would have thought he'd been doing it for decades. Just the king of jingle, jangle, pop rock guitar. Like, Johnny Marr's great and all, but Peter Buck, man, American treasure right there. Okay, let's see. Next, we've got Reckoning. Sophomore Slump? I don't think so. This album is just on fire. You got songs like Harbor Coat, Seven Chinese Brothers, South Central Rain, Don't Go Back to Rockville. It's just so cool. And the album art, I've always really loved it. It's done by Reverend Howard Finster. He was this local kind of strange guy. He was a minister, but God told him one day just to start painting, and he did. And he opened up this like folk art garden, and R.E.M commissioned him to do a bunch of artwork. Really interesting guy. Anyways, awesome album. Next up, we got Fables of Destruction. Whoops. I don't know what that was. This album's pretty darn good too. It's not one of my top favorites, but I mean, it's undeniably great. Got Driver 8, Life and How to Live It. Now that's one of my favorite R.E.M songs. Green Grow the Rushes is really good. Can't Get There From Here. Awesome album. Third record in. Still trucking, baby. Okay, let's see. Next, we got Life's Rich Pageant. Named after a line from the Pink Panther. This album's pretty darn good. You got Bill Berry right there. Man, this album, it's got Fall on Me, Superman, Cuyahoga, Hyena. It's got some good tunes on there. Definitely check it out. It's worth giving a shot. Okay, next up, Document. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I Feel Fine. I might have heard it before Tommy Boy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy Boy was the first place I heard it. And it's like the movie. You hear the song, and you just have to try and sing along, but you can't ever keep up because Michael Stipe is just like laser focused on those lyrics. But man, it's awesome. It's Finest Work song, Welcome to the Occupation, Exhuming McCarthy, Herrenhaus, Strange. It's a really good Wire cover. It's great. Oh, and the one I love, Jesus. Yeah, this thing's just full of hits, really. Okay. Next up, we got Green. This is their first foray into kind of the big boy world on Warner Brothers. Wow. They'd done so well for themselves on IRS, which wasn't like a tiny label, but pretty small. And R.E.M, they just always played by their own rules. They didn't let anybody tell them what to do, and they just kept their integrity. First and foremost, they were an art project that just kind of became, you know, a means of living and living really well. But they never sacrificed anything, and this album just kind of proves it. This is the first record where I guess you could say they're entering the mid-period R.E.M. Just awesome. Orange Crush, Hair Shirt. What else is on here? Some of my favorites. I'm just so bad with names. Pop Song 89 is really good. You Are the Everything is beautiful. World Leader Pretend is awesome. And The Wrong Child. The Wrong Child is just something else. I think it's one of the standout tracks on the album, honestly. It's really good. If you haven't heard that one, go give it a shout. There's some heavy-duty messages going on just about, man, a kid getting picked on growing up. Anyways, awesome album. They're really growing into themselves at this point. And next, the big Slamma Jamma at our time. It's got Losing My Religion, Radio Song, Low, Near Wild Heaven, one of my, it might be my favorite R.E.M song. In Game, shoot, I mean, Texarkana, Country Feedback, Half World Away, Me and Honey, Belong, Shiny Happy People. I mean, it's hard to say anything that hasn't been said about this one. It's amazing. It was the thing that just solidified R.E.M. If they hadn't already made it, which, you know, they'd already done pretty much everything that a lot of bands do their entire careers up to this point, but this one just really put them on the map. Next, you got, ooh, this is the second copy, because this one came in lemonade yellow, direct from Target. Pretty cool to be an R.E.M fan sometimes. Okay, so after that, you get Automatic for the People, another just smash classic. Everybody Hurts, who they actually got John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin to arrange the strings on it. I mean, you got Ignoreland, you got Stormy Kitten, Man on the Moon, Night Swimming, Find the River, Sidewinder Sleeps. Every tune on here is pretty much a classic. It's probably the most mature R.E.M album, and if any of them belong in like a museum or something, this one's probably the one I guess they would pick. Okay, what else we got? What else? Okay. Monster. This one's a little strange for me. It was definitely not one of my favorites. A lot of people love it. I don't mind it. It's good. But it's heavy duty on the guitars. They just wanted to be a fun, loud rock and roll band again. And this one shows. It's like a glam record almost. Bang and Blame. I mean, shoot, there's so many good ones on it, really. What's the Frequency, Kenneth? Strange Currencies, Star 69, Tongue. It's great. It's just not one of my favorites. Okay. Last but not least, this is New Adventures in Hi-Fi. This is the last album that Bill Berry was on. He had an aneurysm in '95 and left the band in '97. A lot of people say that this is the last truly great R.E.M album. It's got some good songs on it, but so does every R.E.M album after this, too. But this one's got Electrolyte. What else? Let's see. How the West Was Won and Where It Got Us takes a few listens, but once you get into it, it's really, really good. New Test Lepers, really good. Ebo the Letter, can't forget that one. That's really about all I gotta say about it. It's sad that Bill Berry had his not accident, it was, you know, an aneurysm. But I think he ended up buying a horse farm and just kind of is still doing that, just, you know, relaxing, which, good for you, Bill. I'm glad you're doing well and still doing something that you love. Man, R.E.M's just great. They're a southern band, as we've established, and they made it cool to be a weirdo, artsy kid from the South. If you're not from the South, I guess you might have your opinions, but when I think about the South, I think about hot summer days, cicadas, snow cones, waking up to the smell of fresh cut grass, and bands like R.E.M. They're just classic Southern music to me. I don't know what it is, but they're great. Ever since I was a little kid, I remember waking up on a Saturday morning, hearing my dad mow the lawn, and he's blasting Out of Time on his boombox outside. Just stuff like that. Just lived with him my entire life. I got to see him in 2008, and that was amazing. Got to touch Michael Stipe's elbow. Whew. Yeah, that was something. All right, let me see what else we got here. This is a cool little documentary called Athens Inside Out. It's about R.E.M. and a bunch of other little local bands from Athens back in the day. There's Love Tractor, who's also one of my favorite Athens bands. Pylon, the B-52s are on there a little bit. Flat Duo Jets, they're okay. But really cool documentary. You get to see some kind of weird old footage of R.E.M. that maybe you hadn't seen before. But anyways, check this out if you haven't seen it. It's a fun, interesting watch for sure. Up here, I've got some old tour t-shirts and, oddities and my fun little R.E.M. hat. And that's pretty much my R.E.M. collection, other than maybe a couple singles on cassette. But boy, I just love R.E.M. And I hope if you're an R.E.M. fan, maybe you learned something. I didn't really get too crazy deep in anything, but I hope you're having fun watching these videos. And because I'm having fun making them, just talking about stuff that I like in hopes that maybe you do too. All right, guys, until next time.